Hey guys, welcome to After the Bars. I am Sam. That's me. It's me. We're going to talk a little bit about Karen Read today. There was that article last week, Karen Read, federal investigation impacts more cases than previously thought. And then there was a letter that was dropped that says or that was given to the prosecutors or to the courts, rather. Letter appears to confirm end of federal investigation tied to Karen Read case. That is absolutely 1,000% not true. That investigation is not over. But people just want to tell themselves, and the Commonwealth wants to keep telling everybody that the investigation is over. It's not over. You know why? Because they do not have a suspect, or they have a suspect, but they do not have an indictment on who killed John O'Keefe. That is not just going to float away into the universe and to never be heard of again, and justice for John O'Keefe just doesn't happen. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. The feds have enough information on just what they are giving to the Commonwealth of the impact of all the text messages from Michael Proctor with all the lies and the deceit, and they see it all. They just don't see that because they have proof of that. That they only have concrete proof of Michael Proctor's text. So that's why those are being used to flip the Commonwealth upside down with defendants that have been affected by Michael Proctor's lies. That doesn't mean John O'Keefe doesn't get justice. I assure you, that doesn't mean that. I've been around. I've seen a lot of people get indicted. I've been in prison with a ton of people that have been indicted federally. I did a long time in the feds, and I had a lot of friends. I've seen a lot of people come and go. And what do we talk about? We talk about our cases, how the indictments happened, how they thought it was gone and over with, and they didn't think anything would happen. And the next thing you know, they've quit doing drugs, and they're building a life with a family and a house and a business. And then 5 years later, almost to the day of the statute of limitations, the feds kick in their door. And
Real Fabio?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost had the name. So he's like, yeah, that dude, he didn't testify against somebody on a murder trial. I'm with Loophole Lawyer and with a lot of you. We want justice for John O'Keefe. And who would that be? Brian Higgins. Who are we going to point our fingers at for justice for John O'Keefe? Brian Higgins. It's a for sure thing. The investigation is not over. Let's get to this. This was just dropped last. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but remember, hit that like button down below. It really helps the channel to grow bigger and better and more diverse. Not that weird, creepy kind of government diverse. I'll Samsplain it for you if you want. You want to hear some Samsplaining? Just like the video down below. Karen Read federal investigation impacts more cases than previously thought. I was just talking about this, but we're going to go over this just for shits and giggles. Norfolk County prosecutors reviewed confidential materials turned over from the federal government's investigation of the Karen Read case for evidence that could benefit defendants in 19 criminal cases, court records show. It remains unclear if prosecutors distributed the federal materials across all 19 cases, some of which have already gone to trial. In 12 of the 19 cases, prosecutors filed protective orders for federal grand jury materials, suggesting they either had turned over or planned to share some documents. The list of all 19 cases was revealed in a court order filed last week in the Brian Walsh case. Norfolk Superior Court Judge Peter Corrupt, just kidding, ordered the federal government not to destroy any materials it turned over to state prosecutors during the Read investigation. The order was entered a day before local prosecutors returned the tranche of documents. I'll have to look that word up. That's a good word. Turned over to them back to the feds. Key word is there. Key sentence is there. When they turned them over back to the feds. Don't listen to these fools when they tell you the investigation's over. They just wish it to be over. State prosecutors first gave notice of the possible return or destruction of the material in July. A federal court order required the district attorney's office to dispose of the material 30 days after the end of the Reed case, which concluded with her acquittal on June 18th. What a glorious day that was. That order was eventually extended to a deadline of October 31st. A series of hearings on the issue were held before Krupp, but the hearings only addressed 5 cases. Those of Bianca Chiococcio, whatever, Giovanni De Los Santos, Sean Johnson, Miles King, and Brian Walsh. All but Chiococcio, I'm Mexican and I can't pronounce that name. Chiococcio are charged with murder. In the remaining 14 cases, all but 2 defendants are charged with murder. The exact contours of the federal investigation are not known, but multiple witnesses who testified at the retrial were summoned to appear before a federal grand jury, including former Massachusetts State Police Trooper Michael Proctor. Yeah, we hate Proctor. When Proctor, who was fired this March, testified before the federal grand jury, he was asked about the failure to conduct a proper investigation in the Reed case. According to a lawyer representing Walsh, much of the information lawyers sought access to from the federal investigation concerned Proctor. Attorney Rosemary Scapaccio, whatever, who represents 2 clients. Those cases involve Proctor, said there are 3 different categories of information she and other lawyers sought access to. These are searches performed on Proctor's work phone, searches on his personal phone, and whatever else the government turned up during its investigation. In the Reed case, that 3rd category would include grand jury material. Proctor's role in the 19 cases affected by the federal investigation is unclear. He was the lead investigator in the King's case, but played less prominent role in others like Walsh. In any criminal case, prosecutors have an obligation to disclose any material that could benefit a defendant, including, for example, evidence that harms the credibility of a law enforcement officer. But prosecutors also turned over material in a case that went to trial and ended in a conviction. Now, we all know that didn't happen in the Karen Reed case. That all should have happened. Between both prosecutions and both trials, there was plenty of information that would have exonerated Karen Reed, in my opinion, my very humble opinion. Jack Lew, a retired Superior Court judge, explained that prosecutors were likely seeking to protect the constitutional rights of the convicted defendant. Good for him. Good for him. That makes perfect sense. They're all likely enabling the defense for the case that ended in conviction to consider the true value of what criminal lawyers called Brady material. Now we know Deaver and it's possible that the commissioner will both be on that Brady list. That is absolutely a dreaded Brady list. You heard it here second, that when Deaver quit her job, and it was confirmed first by Turtle Boy. And then you heard it here second. Then a month later, everyone else came out with it. Huh? Who are you going to watch? After the bars. Taken together, and recent disclosures appear to show that Proctor could remain a central figure in many criminal cases, even after being fired from the state police. I would see defense lawyers making Trooper Proctor a part of every case he is involved in. I'd be shocked if they did not, said Lew, an adjunct faculty member at Boston College Law and New England Law. Proctor's involvement is likely a freebie to defense lawyers. I was saying the same thing just the other day, talking with a colleague of mine, just saying, you know what? These are all freebies for defense lawyers that even Proctor's name could even just be a side note on. If his name is an asterisk at the bottom of any case, that case can be overturned. and defendants could be set free. Now, that would be without prejudice, of course. I think it's astounding that all these cases are getting open and that Proctor will never, ever, ever work in law enforcement again. He absolutely will not. And, just before that, and this was on August 19th, a letter appears to confirm the end of the federal investigation tied to Karen Reed case. That is absolutely false. And I'm not going to go through that letter. I downloaded the PDF to read. It's super long, but it's a non-starter. I don't know who was assessing this document, but that is not exactly what they said in that case. Anything regarding the Karen Reed trial and a federal prosecution against Proctor is over. Absolutely. And that's what they're talking about. And the story that I just read to you, that was after that letter. And look, they're still dealing with the feds back and forth with material documents and evidence. And, but we still don't have justice for John O'Keefe. But you know what? We're going to get justice for John O'Keefe. I assure you, my hand to God, we will get justice for John O'Keefe. And then hopefully you guys will all come back and subscribe to After the Bars. But just remember, you heard it here on November 11, 2025. That Brian Higgins is going to get indicted. He's the one who did it. And you know what? Brian Albert might be indicted too. And if they can prove that Jen McCabe knowingly lied on the stand and knowingly did those Google searches, she'll definitely be indicted also. Those are the only three. They're not going to mess with Brian Albert's wife. But Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, Jen McCabe, pobrecitos. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we'll just have to be patient. Until then, I will be doing content on Charlie Kirk. I've already done a great deal of content on Charlie Kirk. Please go back and check out any of those stories I've done. Done some on Baron Coleman. Those have done really well when he got in an argument with Life is, I can't remember, with the cameraman that did all the footage that's used, all over the internet and on mainstream media of the Charlie Kirk assassination. And just expect more material coming on Charlie Kirk. Anyways, I love you guys. Thanks for coming out. To my Samsters, I'm sorry I'm not doing the morning show. I'm just not up to it. I would love to. But the next time I start, it's every day from then on. It's every day from then on. Maybe I'll do an announcement. I don't know. I'm feeling a little better. I'm barely getting my voice back, but I'm working through it and I'm trying, guys. I really am. I love doing this. It's hard to do the live shows when there's no audience there. I get it. I used to have a lot bigger of an audience, and it's hard to just do them with the few Samsters I got left. But you guys are the loyal ones, and I feel like you deserve it, and I owe it to you guys for keeping me alive. People like John Lazon, Anti-Monkey Pants, Lynn. You guys have supported me to where I'm even able to do a show today, to do this recording. And I really appreciate you guys. Oh, Robin Bliss, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. And the holidays are coming, and I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. I can't wait till I get my back surgery. That's really gonna help. But anyways, guys, remember to like and subscribe. That's all I care about. Like and subscribe. And I will see you soon. Remember, be kind to each other. And mahalo. The wounds are raw, but time will heal. Be thankful now for where you stand, and hold the world in grateful hands. After the bars, we're rising strong, facing the world where we belong. Recovery burns a steady flame, grateful hearts
call out your name.